Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. Today, we have a special guest. We have Ben Barsh, Pacesetter Games. I was joking with Ben right before the game. I was calling him the young buck in the OSR, so he told me he has to prove himself. We'll see. Ben. Ben,
well, thank you for that very humbling introduction. Well, my name is Ben Barsh. I work with my dad at Pacesetter Games and Simulations, and sort of, how I got to be on this show is I'm finally putting out my first publication, a 5th edition campaign for 1st to 6th level, and that is currently live on Kickstarter right now. So we'll talk about that and maybe some other stuff a little bit.
Well, first off, what's the name of the Kickstarter?
Sure. We'll jump right into that. All right. So
let's jump right into it right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Because remember, one of the things that I always cover is Kickstarter. So.
Right. Exactly. So the book itself is called Rise of the Nefarious, but if you're searching it on Kickstarter, it's Rise of the Nefarious, a 5th edition campaign. Like I said, it is for 5th edition. We are currently about 175% funded. We've raised $3,472 at the point of this podcast. I released my first stretch goal, and it's going very, very well. I am absolutely humbled by the amount of support that I've gotten so far from everyone in our community and new people as well who have never, heard of me or my dad or Pacesetter Games at all. So this has been a very, very humbling experience for me.
Well, I mean, your father is a good person, I guess, to have. I don't want to say trained you, but prepared you for the experience, I am sure.
Yes, definitely. And it's not only my dad. I mean, my dad has been very, very supportive every single night, asking, what do you need help with? What do you need me to do? That kind of thing. But it's also, some amazing people in our OSR community as well. Like you just having me on your show. It's very, very helpful, Zach Laser has been amazingly supportive in any questions that I have about Kickstarter or Backer Kit. He's like, just shoot me a message. Chris Haskin from Nord Games. The list is sort of endless here of the people I'd like to thank. But you guys know who you are, so thank you.
Well, in a way, it goes to podcast episode I just recently put up about me defining the OSR, and I think in the end, the OSR is defined by the community that it is. It isn't what games you play, but it's how the community supports each other, and that we really are defining that right now.
Yeah, no, definitely, and especially as a young person coming into this community, I did honestly more expect some doubt, I guess, that whether I could do this project or I could do it well, but that's not at all what I found. So I'm very, very happy with the support that I've gotten. It's absolutely a blessing.
Excellent. So, all right. Well, I want to cover the Kickstarter stuff before I start dragging you down under other unsundry paths. What are the main backer prices? If you're talking PDF or print, what are your main spots people should be looking at?
Sure. So if you are a digital defender, you get a PDF edition of Rise of the Nefarious, and that is $20. And mind you, this is about, we're approaching final layout right now as we get in final art and everything like that. It's going to be anywhere from 100 to 120 pages of content. So it's a pretty hefty book here. I do have the softcover Savior, which is a softcover version of Rise of the Nefarious. That is $30, and that is absolutely a Kickstarter exclusive. I wanted to do the softcover because I know a lot of the OSR community and the old school gamers love softcover as their book. Yeah. Instead of splitting it up into 2 parts in 2 separate modules, I just did one softcover. So that's absolutely exclusive for all the OSR people specifically is kind of why I did that. The hardcover hero is a hardcover version of Rise of the Nefarious. That is $45. That is what you will see us at Pacesetter supplying for, eternity, basically, supplying this book as in game stores and on our website at conventions and everything. And then you have the Best of Both Worlds for $70. You can get both of them, which is $5 less than if you had to buy them separately. And then I have some retail options, and all levels except the retail options get PDFs because I know people love PDFs nowadays. And I didn't want to have that be an add-on or have to cost you more money. I know people love PDFs. I really do enjoy them sometimes. If I'm, writing and I just want quick references, then I pull up my PDFs. So everyone gets PDF just because I think that's necessary.
Well, that's cool because it really is what I look for too. I mean, I love my stuff in print, and that's what I'll read when I'm at my desk. But if I am going to be running an adventure, I tend to print out the pages that I need for that session.
Yeah,
That way I can also write on them and not have to worry about ruining the original. And
exactly.
Also, I like to read on my iPad in bed, and that way I can read it and not keep Rachel up at night with a book light. There's no book light that doesn't keep the person next to you up. I'm sorry.
Exactly. No, exactly. And something a little different that I wanted to do with this book is, if you look in, I'm not going to name any names because I just don't think that's necessary right now. But if you look in a lot of 5th edition books, the monsters are just listed, when you encounter them. They'll maybe just be in bold or something. But what I wanted to do with this book is I wanted to supply the DM a book and a toolkit where you can literally open the book and run the game, just like in the old school. You have all the monster stats in line. And that's what a big thing I wanted to do with this book is I have inline monster stats for 5th edition, which is a little weird because the monster stats can be kind of big. But in some cases I have to consolidate them down and edit things out. But when I do, I note that just so the DM doesn't have to have, like you said, like multiple different books open at one time, scattered across the desk or table trying to run the game, or have another, computer open with the monster stats or anything like that. So inline monster stats, in my opinion, is huge because as a DM, it just makes it so much easier to run the game.
Oh, hell yeah. And nobody likes flipping. The less flipping through a book, the better. I mean, I run Swords and Wizardry because I can run that generally without flipping through the rule book, just through the adventure. And that to me is a huge reason why I haven't moved on from Swords and Wizardry.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bridge the gap to 5th edition a lot easier because I know the old school. I've been going to these conventions for, I think it's been more than 5 years now, but probably 5 or 6 years. And what I lack in specific age, I'm only 20, I've gained in experience. So I know what people want, I know what DMs want, and I know what players want. And if I can bridge that gap easier for people, then that completes me. That makes my work a lot more complete.
Well, and that's the exciting thing about the OSR is actually seeing us bring in some new blood. Like I mentioned with you before the recording when we were just yapping away, the OSR, the main faces that we think about in the OSR are just getting older. I mean, even myself, I'm going to be 51. I'm not I don't know if I ever was a spring chicken, but I'm not getting any younger, and that goes for the other personalities that we need new blood coming in, and new blood is, by necessary definition, going to be younger players, and that's great because it brings in new energy to the whole the hobby and to our community.
Yeah, for sure. And when I say this, I mean it. My heart is with the old school. That's what I grew up with. My dad started me on 1st edition. I started my friends on 1st edition, and I still play 1st edition to this day. Just because I'm, releasing stuff for 5e doesn't mean, I'm sort of leaving the OSR community. I actually, I don't want to make any promises. I'm just going to take this with a grain of salt. I do want to republish this book for possibly another in OSR game system. That would make me extremely happy. I just wanted to kind of shy away from doing that during the Kickstarter because, this is my first publication, my first Kickstarter. I don't want any disruptions. I want this to run as smoothly as possible, and I want to hit estimated delivery or before if possible. So I really do want to put this out for possibly Swords and Wizardry. I love that game system, and that would be a more in the future kind of thing. Just because, like I said, I love the old school.
Well, from my experience, having again, I run Swords and Wizardry. I've read the Pathfinder rules, never run them. I've read the 5e rules, never run them. But 5e and the OSR seems to have a little synergy where you can move between the two systems rule-wise, convert between the two systems rule-wise. It isn't as hard as going, say, from Pathfinder. I'm not even going to really include 4E into this because that was
Yeah,
its
definitely.
own
4 is its own beast.
it's like a mongolization of like RPGs and computer RPGs. But yeah. But yes, I mean, and listen, we have to be honest. 5E is most certainly the market to aim for. I mean, even for our guide games, they've dropped Pathfinder now, and it's 5E and Swords and Wizardry. But 5E pays the bills, and Swords and Wizardry is the passion.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can't really speak to Pathfinder as much as I can speak to 5th edition. Mainly because I never really was into the game system. I never really, it never really hooked me. But 5th edition has hooked me a lot. I mean, I play with my friends twice a week if we can. I go to my local game store and play once a week at least if I can. I've been kind of bad about it lately because I've been doing this Kickstarter and been super busy. But just the community around 5th edition is amazing. And the game designers and developers and creative directors, they're all amazing. They're super reachable. If you have a question about the rules, if you have something that you thought would be cool, you literally just send them a tweet. And almost every time they send something back. They're super reachable. Yeah, it's amazing to see. And it's really, really cool to see too, because I've seen a lot of, I come from the video game scene as well. I was nearly a professional Call of Duty player like once or twice. And to see those game developers for nearly every video game, they're not reachable. They kind of sit on a god seat and sort of like have an ego about it. But watching these tabletop game designers just be reachable to anyone, it's really, really cool to see. And it really gives you more faith in the game system and what they're doing moving forward, that they're just so transparent with everybody.
Sure, that I had no clue. That's really
it's really cool.
Like Twitter, Twitter shares out my posts automatically. Other than that, I don't think I log into it more than I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year.
Sure.
So, but that actually is interesting to know. I had no idea how much support 5E was getting from gentlemen and ladies at Wizards of the Coast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, Wizards has done a really, really good job with transparency between their head office and their community. It's really cool. Like, I've had questions on the rules before, and I type it into Google, and most of the time the first thing that comes up is Twitter and them replying to other people who had the same question as me, clarifying the rules. And I think that's really cool. If there's something that was maybe worded weirdly in the book, then they just clarify it on social media, and that way it's set in stone for forever, and people can go clarify as needed.
Huh. Damn.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I learned something new every day. So, all right. Well, we've covered the Kickstarter. We've covered a little bit of that translation between being in the OSR and writing for 5E. What else is going on with you right now?
What else is going on with me?
I happen to know, but I think it's pretty damn cool. But I mean, the listeners don't.
I think you're talking about Disney.
I am talking about.
You're talking about Disney. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Right on. All right. So, I don't even know how to get backstory for this. So, my family, we're huge Disney nerds. We've been going to Disney since I could go, as when I was like 3 years old. We were hopping on, in the car and road tripping down to Disney, like 20 hours from Michigan.
Wow.
We're super Disney. Yeah, we're that big of Disney freaks that we will be in a car with each other for 20 hours just to get there. We fly more nowadays, just because my sister have jobs and we can pay for more.
Right.
But I've always wanted to do something called the Disney College Program. And basically that's where you go to Disney, you work in the parks, and you can take college courses through Disney University that transfer back to your college as electives. In some cases, they transfer back as like actual classes you need to graduate. But in my case, it's just an elective, which I'm completely okay with. So I applied for the Disney College Program. I went through the application process and I got hired. So I am officially a cast member of Disney in Orlando. So from August 6th through January 3rd, I will be in Disney working in the parks and taking courses with them.
That is really, really cool.
Yes, I'm
That is
super excited.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really excited. It's just an awesome experience as it is. Having Disney on your resume will never hurt you. It will only help you.
Yeah.
And it's a really good stepping stone into their professional internships. I believe you can apply for a professional internship if you haven't done the Disney College Program, but they love to see the Disney College Program, right? They want to see that you've put in your due diligence with the company and you are completely fine with just working your way up the ladder, and humbling yourself enough to go work in a restaurant in Disney for 6 months and then apply to be in the offices. So that's kind of my plan, is to work to apply for an internship and see where it goes from there.
Wow. Now, see, part of that I didn't know. So that's really damn cool.
Yeah, and I've actually I will leave them nameless because I don't know if I haven't talked to them if I'm allowed to if I have the okay to say their name, but I do know someone who is in the Disney offices as one of the higher ups who's going to meet with me once I get down there and talk to me about how to work your way up in Disney and what to do, what don't to do, and everything. He's going to give me a bunch of tips. So I got really lucky with all of this. So
you really did. That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, you have a funded Kickstarter.
Yep.
Which is great. You got over 3 weeks left in it. I'm looking at it right now. You get 23 days. You are well set.
Yeah, no, I'm there's a saying nowadays between a lot of kids. They always say I'm living my best life, and a lot of times it's ironic. Like if their car breaks down in the middle of a road, they'll say I'm living my best life. Just sort of an ironic statement, but I truly am living my best life right now. It can't get better. This summer, my job has been this Kickstarter and working with my dad, and now I get to go be in Disney for 5 months. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. It's really, really is cool.
You're living the dream.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm living the dream. But I do want to clarify something real quick because I know I have gotten this question. And for the people listening and doing the timeline of math in your head, yes, my shipping date is set to October 2018. And that's when I'll be in Disney. However, I have figured it out already and need not worry. First of all, my dad and I, we're kind of used to working from different locations. My dad works down south a lot during the winter. So the whole winter, we're working back and forth from Michigan and Alabama, basically. So we have that down already. But I will be flying home at some point, either in October or before, to ship out the books. So me going to Disney will in no way disrupt this Kickstarter. I still plan on being 100% on time. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know people were, they saw in my bio that I'll be in the Disney College Program, and they're like, well, you said you're shipping out of Detroit in October. How's that going to work? And I was like, don't worry. I already have it all figured out,
You can employ a lot of mice and have them all box it up.
Yep, exactly. I'll get Cinderella's friends, all the squirrels and the birds and everything to help me box everything up. That would be awesome, but sadly, no, I will be hand boxing.
No. Now, something I'm going to point out about your Kickstarter page that I really wish everybody would do that put together Kickstarter, because a lot of people reach out to me to I have a new Kickstarter out there, whether it's OSR or other gaming related, and it's good stuff. And there's nothing for me to use as a splash on the blog because they have their video, which might have the art and the initial splash on it, but there's no cover page from the product or splash on the actual Kickstarter page that I can rip for the blog. You have Lloyd Metcalf's cover here. Looks beautiful. Yep. So later on when I decided to do an actual post highlighting this Kickstarter, I can rip that cover there. I've got my splash, I got my art for the post, as opposed to trying to grab a screenshot from a video, which at first isn't going to be as clear, and secondly is a real pain in my ass. But this is what, if you're listening and you're going to be starting a Kickstarter, you've done Kickstarters, if you want to make it easy on those that are going to be like, I don't know, quote, the media, the news, getting word out on your releases, just something as simple as putting the cover of your product in your Kickstarter page, or art that is labeled for your product on your Kickstarter page, makes it easier for folks like me to get the word out.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
So good going, Ben. 2 thumbs up.
Well, thank you. I totally inadvertently did that, but I'm gonna say that I did that on purpose. No, I mean, I did want that up there. I got my cover and I love it. I really do. It's actually the background on my phone as well, because I just want to look at it all the time. I think Lloyd absolutely nailed it. But I wanted people to see what it would look like for sure. And that only, like you said, only makes it easier on you and other podcasts or other YouTube channels to post about it. So and it helps when people share it, So that's the main reason I wanted it on there as well.
Well, and it's funny because I've been following Lloyd's art for years, and I can see the progression at it. He's been taking some high-level art courses. His use of colors is spot on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
he did a great job with this one.
Yeah, he's done a lot of covers for us in the past, and I honestly think of all the recent books that we put out, like bigger books that we know will sell well, we've used Lloyd, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on his art. Like I actually noticed something too. When we're at conventions and at the booth, people generally pick up the books with his cover art on it first. Like it just draws their eye, and it looks great. No slam to anyone else who does cover art. It's just my personal experience has really only been with Lloyd, so I can only really praise him. But still, he does absolutely fantastic work, and I'm so happy that he's working with me on my first book, and he couldn't be an easier and more reachable person to work with. So that's my plug for Lloyd Metcalf right there.
That's it. Well, it's a well-deserved one, because
definitely
that artist I got to talk to Lloyd about it later, because that actually might do well as a print. He really has colors that pop. So
for sure. And the big thing that, like I said, I've been working my way up in the gaming community, and I've been taking on more slack as I get older and with more experience. And I found that sometimes artists are a little hard to reach. It just depends who you have an experience with, and that may turn you on or off to working with, artists or whatever. Everyone has different experiences. But I have had experiences where it's a little bit hard to reach them. And, writers can definitely be the same way. Anyone can be the same way. But Lloyd has been super easy to work with. He nearly any time of day I message him, I get a reply back like right away. And that's absolutely amazing. And that's the kind of person you want to work with. So, other than his amazing art, he's just super easy to work with.
Very nice. Cool. Well, Ben, I think we have covered a hell of a lot. I'm really looking forward to getting this Kickstarter in my hands. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for soft cover or actually. Knowing me, I should go for the hardcover, because as much as I like soft covers, they always get dog-eared real quickly on my shelves.
Yeah, that's the consensus generally.
All right, well, at least I figured that part out. All right, well, again, thank you very much for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me so much. I really, really do appreciate this. This is really cool being able to come on and talk with you.
Well, listen, anytime. Hopefully, I think next week I should be having one or two of the frogs on.
Nice.
Because they have the City of Brass Kickstarter kicking off.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Oh my gosh, that looks really cool.
It looks real exciting, and there's a few others at the from talking at North Texas, doing my normal booth bitch work and or booth babe work.
Booth babe work. That's what we like to. Yeah.
I'm
still a booth babe at Pacesetter.
Yeah, you might be, but I had a bit too much gut to be a babe, unless it was a babe like the pig. But
oh man.
Well, hey, I was a cop too. It fits in so many.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's many levels. It's
many. It's many levels. But there are a number of people who approached me and they just want to hang out and do an episode or two of the podcast, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. And I enjoy doing this. As much fun as I have doing my solo episodes, it's a lot more fun talking to somebody.
Definitely. No, I hear that. I live streamed on twitch.tv for like a year. And when I would just be playing games alone by myself, it was like a lot more draining. But when I had other people to talk to and, divert me from the fact that I'm live, it's a lot easier. So
Yeah,
I definitely hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, you feed off each other's energies, and that's really where it comes into play.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'd be happy to be on, whenever you need someone to talk about new school or old school or whatever you want to talk about. I'd be happy to be on.
Well, no, dude, if you ever have a time like when you're at Disney and in between serving food or whatever else they have you doing and your classwork, if you want to take a break and spend 20, 25 minutes talking about games, because you might not get a chance to game as much as you might hope at Disney.
I actually started the Disney College program, Dungeons and Dragons Club, and I think we have like over 100 people already who want to play.
Oh my
games.
god, that is,
I know.
Dude, that is awesome.
I know, it's like a dream come true. We're gonna be playing Disney and like Magic Kingdom and Epcot. I am so excited and so ready. It's gonna be super cool.
That is all right. Now I'm really envious. Never throw it off. Go to your Disney and whatever. I don't want to hear about it. I'm gonna go to my room and sulk. No, really, that is awesome. Well, again, Ben, thank you very much for stopping on by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, folks, we're gonna wrap this episode up. Again, thank you to Ben for stopping on by. As always, stay safe. God bless. Roll your dice well. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, folks.